Hello, everyone, and welcome to a 45-minute yin practice. And we're essentially going to simply just need 2 cushions and a blanket. If you know you need a lot of extra support in your practice, so in your yin practice, grab 4 cushions. All right, at least have 2 of them that are the same size, because that's going to be ideal. Okay, so set up your space, take a couple minutes. We're just gonna get started in about 2 minutes here. I'm gonna make sure my lighting and everything is good. If you wanna light a couple candles, of course, please do. All right. Alrighty, everyone. So if you're here, ready to go, please come onto your mat or your blanket that you've splayed out. Yin, if you are new to this, is a floor practice. So we will just be working from the floor. There's no need to stand. You can get nice and cozy. And of course, we are doing a home practice. So acknowledge it may not be perfect, and it's not about creating that perfect setting or atmosphere. It's about really just tapping into the center of self. And to acknowledge how imperfectly perfect everything is in this life. Okay, so let's just actually start in a nice child's pose. So we'll come into hands and knees, bring the toes to touch. Draw the knees nice and wide. And if you prefer, they can be closer together. Stretch out the arms. Bow the head to the floor. And you can also bring one ear to the floor. Now, what I like to do in this practice is rock my head from side to side in this pose. So you can gently rock the head from side to side. Just for a moment or two. And feel that body kind of release and relax into the mat. So you can stay in your pose. I'll be popping up just to check in. See if we have any comments. This is a live practice today. Let your hips sink back to your heels. Good. So hips sink back to the heels. Shoulders relax down away from the ears. And we start to fill our breath. Just notice where you're holding some excess tension in this child's pose and start to release a little bit more. So if it's the jaw, maybe you just let that jaw roll around a little. And soften the muscles of the face. And as you breathe, feel the belly expand into those legs. And as you exhale, it just naturally deflates. Feeling that stretch and opening through the quads and opening through the ankles. And we're just bowing in reverence to self. Acknowledging these 45 minutes we have together for self-care. We'll spend 3 to 5 minutes in each yin pose. And that's just connective tissues to release, the body to soften. So let's take about 5 to 6 more breaths here. When you've completed those 5, all I'm going to have you do is come to lay on your stomach. I can't demonstrate, but I'm pretty sure we can all get this just because of my belly. So you're going to lay on your stomach. Turn your right ear down onto the floor. Arms reach to the side, so they would be just to the sides, and turn the palms up towards the ceiling. And then just let your whole body drop into the floor, a front side savasana. Feel the support of the earth. So the earth is our yin energy, which we're working to connect with, to ground into, to feel completely supported by during this practice. So we can release all that muscular effort. So just take a few more breaths, letting the body completely ground and release the breath to be full. And feel that nice massage of the belly into the mat, which for some can also release some low back tension. And then just ever so slowly turning the left ear down onto the mat, gently stretching through the other side of the neck, and continue those slow, deep, mindful breaths. And we're not looking to really control the breath in any certain way or to really, restrict or extend. We're ideally working into a natural rhythm of lower abdominal breathing. We'll seek to, within each pose and even within our transitions from pose to pose, find that steady, smooth breath. And then just remind ourselves to come back to that breath. And again, sink a little bit heavier into the floor. And then take another 2 full breaths there. And then from the belly, let's make our way up into a tabletop pose. Just really nice slow rounds of cat-cow. So you're going to arc the back tailbone, look forward. Exhale, nice slow curl round, look towards the belly. And inhale, offer the heart. Exhale, slow and round. We're just doing, again, these very slow cat-cow movements. Encouraging that spine to release any excess tension. Yeah, and then just one more time, curling up into cat. And then dropping into a nice neutral spine. Making our way into a seated position. So if it is comfortable for you, you can sit cross-legged. You can sit on your heels if you'd like. Or you can sit on a cushion. If you're finding you're rounding quite a bit, sit on the edge of a cushion or a rolled blanket. Okay, so just propping yourself up if you need that. And don't be shy to try it out. If you're like, oh, I think I'm okay, but you sit on a cushion, it feels better, that's good. It means it's right for you. All right? A few rounds of Anulom Viloma breathing or alternate nostril breathing. So we're going to take our right hand. I'm not going to mirror you just so I don't mix up the instructions on this one. So your right hand, take that in front of your face. Your thumb will be closing off the right nostril, and your ring finger will be closing the left nostril. The two peace fingers, middle index, can either connect to the point between eyebrows. We call that third eye point, or a calming meridian point exists there as well. Or you can tuck them under. And I'll tuck mine under just so you can see. Start by closing off the right nostril. Inhale through the left for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Close the left. Hold. Release the thumb. Exhale through the right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale through the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Close and hold. And exhale through the left. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Inhale through left side. 5. Close and hold. Release the thumb. Exhale through right. Inhale through right nostril. Close and hold. Release the ring finger. Exhale completely. And now inhale through the left nostril. Close and hold. Exhale through the right. Inhale through 5 for the right. Close and hold. Do one more round and then exhale through the left. Inhale through left for 5. Close and hold. Exhale through the right. 5. Inhale through right. 5. Relax the shoulders. Close and hold. And finally, exhale through the left side. Release the right hand down onto the knee or onto the lap, depending how you're sitting, and simply breathe. Acknowledging if the breath had a calming effect on the body. Known to balance right, left side of the brain. And if you are feeling a bit more anxious, short of breath, you can go back to a pranayama video on this page that I've also made to go over that technique a little bit more. Just means the nose might have been too stuffed, so not a good option today. Or you need to simply practice. Good. We're going to extend the right leg out on the floor. The left foot comes to the inner right thigh. And you're welcome to place the foot under the leg if you need a little more support. So if it's feeling really tight today. Okay. Actually going to turn towards the bent knee. Turn towards bent knee. I'll take this off so everyone can see my movements. Good. So turning towards that bent left knee. Take the arms Just kind of ground through the hands and lengthen up through the spine. Good. And now we'll start to lean in towards the extended right leg. So you can take the hand onto the floor. You can grab the cushion, put it on the leg, whatever feels best. Some of you might lightly grab the foot, but yin isn't about pulling. Okay, we're gonna reach that left arm up and over if it feels okay. If not, continue to rest it on the leg. It's reaching up and over. Take a few full breaths here. Kind of just a little warm up and prep for our yin pose, our half butterfly. And one more deep breath here. I'll take the right hand down, or left hand, excuse me, both hands to either side and like turn towards the extended leg now. And you can start to bow over the leg. Head draws down, chin tucks in. And then we'll just start to release all effort. So notice if you're really flexing the toes back, which we encourage in an active practice. Right now, we're gonna relax the leg. Another option, if you need even more support than your foot, is you can put a cushion under the extended leg. And then bow into it. Let the head draw down. You can even anchor the hands under the extended leg. Whatever feels good here. Soften through the shoulders. It's okay to make a little bit of movement. Roll out the shoulder a little as we settle into this yin pose. And then we'll soften the shoulders, allow the elbows to bend, allow the head to draw down as much as available. Just kind of let the body melt into the shape. Breathe into those areas of tension and discomfort. Now, just take another moment here. You allow that left knee to soften towards the floor, both legs relaxing. The torso might be bowing a little more forward. Your best to now keep the breath steady and even. Take another 4 full inhales and exhales. When you're done those 4, mindfully start to make your way up and out of the pose. Come to that nice seated position. Take a moment, roll the neck out. Rolls in one direction. And a few rolls in the other. Beautiful. Send the left leg out. Or the opposite leg if you've done the other, it's all good. Okay, get yourself set up. So what do you need on this side? The foot prop. Does a cushion help? So again, we're going to turn towards the bent knee first. Turning towards the bent leg, just kind of ground through the hands, lengthen up through the spine. So we're giving space for the abdomen, for the torso, we're lengthening. And then we're going to start to lean towards the extended leg. You can either just place the hand there, and you can put another cushion on the leg, put it there, arm on the floor. Inhale, lift up through the opposite arm, and then reach over towards that foot as well. Just going as far as feels good. We're just kind of opening up the rib cage, the torso, preparing for our longer held half butterfly, our forward fold. One more deep breath here. And then just roll that chest, belly towards the extended leg, and we'll work on that same thing, just bowing into it. Hands can rest to either side of the leg. Again, you can park them under the calf. Ideally, finding that same variation you have been working with on the other side, unless it causes too much discomfort. Start to bow the head down when you feel ready, to soften through those shoulders. Allowing each exhalation to be this invitation to soften just a little bit more. And maybe some gentle movements through the neck, just encouraging release. About 5 to 6 more full breaths on this side. As we feel that stretch to the hamstring, to the back, neck, shoulders get a nice release. Also increases circulation to our kidneys, this pose, and help to open up through the groin. When you're done those few breaths, mindfully begin to make your way up. And this time, why don't we roll the shoulders a few times back and forward. Full butterfly pose. Now have those cushions handy here, because you may need them. Full butterfly is both the legs extended out. Now for some, it really pulls on the inner thighs and even down into the inner knee. So grab your cushions, put them under both knees, okay, and ease off that pressure. And you might need a third cushion if you tend to round back so the pelvis isn't tilted forward here, it's kind of rounding back and in, that's when you're going to either sit on a rolled blanket or another cushion to help tilt yourself forward. So take a moment and get yourself all propped up if needed. And then you can take a hand onto the low back, like right down into the sacrum, which is right at the base of your spine and just below the belt line there. And you'll feel it's kind of a flat bone there. It's a triangular bone. You need to take both hands there. So take your hands to the sacrum and feel it tilt forward. Lengthen up through the spine. And once you feel that, you can just come on forward with your hands. You might stay seated up nice and tall. Again, you can make those little movements, swaying if you like, side to side, doing what feels good. And then in your own time, you might start to bow forward even more. But I want you to think of bowing with a straight spine. So notice I'm not rounding into it yet. We will allow that soon. But I'm moving from the low back. So I lengthen up my spine and I move forward, hinging at the hips as opposed to rolling into it. So keeping the spine long. Kind of lengthening, you can almost feel yourself push into the sit bones, lengthen the spine, and then lean forward. We'll take a few breaths here with a nice long spine. Again, toes, ankles relax. You don't have to flex them back towards you. This is for our connective tissues, not our muscular system effort. Let all that go as best you can. Take 3 more deep breaths with that long spine. Keep pulling the chest forward. Good, and then when that's in, you can start to roll into it. So you might stay up on the hands and just start to roll into the pose. Some of you might come down onto the forearms and bow into it. Others might have the head come right to the floor. And if you have props nearby, blocks, you can put the head on blocks or more cushions. You can get creative with your props when you're working from home. Or just bow right into it. Let gravity do its work. Chin tucks towards chest. Notice that we'll start to pull more through the back, through the hamstrings, because all that fascia is connected. And breathe steady and evenly. If you feel you've gone down a little too much, support yourself with your hand just lightly. Still let the head bow in. Steady, full breaths here. Notice where you're holding that excess tension. Breathe into it, almost like you're filling up a balloon. Those balloons that are really hard to blow up, takes a lot of effort. You can think of that as the tension. I don't think you need to breathe any harder, but you're filling up those kind of more tense, condensed, difficult areas. Giving them a little more oxygen, air, inflating them with some space. And then exhale, maybe soften a little bit more. And we'll take another 3, 4 full breaths here. Maybe softening a bit more in the exhale. See if the body will allow. And then mindfully start to make your way back up. Good. Coming into a seated position. Gather legs back together. Take them in one at a time. Square pose. Couple options here. So extend the legs out to start. Stay seated on the edge of a cushion if you need. You're going to take the right leg or the ankle and place it on top of the left thigh, just above the knee. So don't go on the knee joint. It will be pretty uncomfortable. You may need to grab a couple cushions just for a little more support under that leg. And if you feel this in the hip already, feel that opening, stay right here. Okay? If you want a bit more from the pose, the next stage is you could bend the extended leg. So bend the left knee, place the foot to the floor, hands behind you, and work from here. Okay? If you're needing more, you're going to take essentially stack that left leg under the right. Flexing the toes, so notice I'm not in a cross-legged position. I'm flexing my toes back towards my knees. So we add a little bit of effort into this one. And it's protecting our knee joints. I'm stacking my shins. It's also called a fire log pose. Think of fire logs stacking. Good. And this might be where you start to feel the hips begin to open a bit more. You can still take your cushions, support it under that leg if you need a little bit more. We're going to simply sit and breathe for these 3 minutes together. We've done a lot of folding forward, which can be calming for the nervous system. So if you kind of want to sink into that, if the body will allow, you can start to bow forward again if it's available. Maybe putting the forearms onto that top leg, the knee, the ankle. You can bow into it. Some of you might be able to bow right forward and essentially rest on the legs or stack some cushions under you and come to fold over those cushions, like so. You bow into it this way. If you do have a yoga block handy and your proportions allow, it can rest, and it's taller as usually, right in front of you, and bring your forehead onto the block. So once you've found your sweet spot, breathe nice and deep. We hold so much in our hips. A lot of emotions can be pulled into there. We can hold a lot from our day-to-day activities, from sitting a lot. Just asking them to loosen up a little. It is common in a yin practice that emotions can come up as we release the physical body. Just trust in that, breathe through it, and a sigh breath can be really effective in letting go of that excess emotion. So sigh it out as much as you need. Relax through the shoulders. Try not to compensate by holding tension in other areas of the body. Let's take 3 more inhales and exhales as we are. Mindfully begin to rise on up. Nice and slow out of whatever variation you've chosen. Release the top leg, the bottom leg, stand them out on the floor. Just take a moment, lean back, windshield wiper the legs. And so we'll start into that other side now. We'll take our left ankle onto the right thigh, first variation. You can hold like so. Again, sitting on that cushion if you need. Find that tall spine to start. Cushions can be under the leg if it needs more support. Next variation. You're going to take right foot onto the floor, hands behind you, and hold here. And allowing this bent knee to soften. So you want it almost to press towards the floor. And forward and down. Without actually putting in the muscular effort, but that's the direction you're encouraging it in. And then the last variation is to stack the shins and the calves. So again, it's not cross-legged. You're stacking the shins, flexing the toes back towards the knee. Okay? The feet are flat. Using perhaps a cushion underneath that left knee. So you want to feel a stretch without strain. The moment you feel strain, the body's trying to hang and cling, and it just creates more tension rather than allowing that tension to release. Okay? So once you've found your sweet spot, same thing, we can sit up nice and tall, breathe, settle into it. You can start to lean into it, elbows into the knee, the ankle, stack the cushions, all the variations we went through on the first side. And you might be bringing yourself into a variation that's slightly different than the first side, just because the body is quite uncomfortable in the first option, so that's okay. Just tap into that intelligence of the body. Again, breathing to create more space in those areas of tension, discomfort. Allowing the head to draw down when it feels okay. Letting, again, the pelvis tilt forward, so like we did in our butterfly pose with legs extended. The pelvis tilts forward. You're leaning forward from low back. If you're leaning forward at all, again, you may stay right here up tall. And you feel a nice hip opening there. Notice if you're like flexing your toes back to your knees for dear life, it can be a bit more relaxed. And notice you have the flexion through the ankle, even if you're not holding a lot of muscular effort. Okay? Be aware one hip is usually tighter than the other, and that's just due to how we hold our bodies day in, day out. Our patterns, you might lean on one hip more when you sit down. I tend to fold my left leg under me and sit on my left leg all the time. And yoga is just asking us to balance out those patterns as best we can. And it's essentially, ideally, daily practice, or at least 3 times a week. Get to the mat, and to rebalance. Find some time for ourselves. Breathe deep. And really to trust in our own ability to assist our health, our well-being, our physical alignment. And let's take another 5 full breaths on this side. When that's complete, slowly again come on back up. Extending the legs out. Giving them a little bit of movement. Move through that torso a little. And then grabbing your 2 cushions. All right. Nice set up here. You want to grab a blanket, so if you want to be cozy, this is our 2 poses left. Supported, supported fish and moving into Savasana. All right, so 2 cushions are needed. Or if you have a really big cushion, it might just be one for you. They're going to be lifting the chest, the upper back. So you've done so much forward folding. Take a moment to rest in a gentle back bend. Come to lay back. So again, those cushions are under the upper back. They're lifting up through the chest. Head draws back. It's completely fine for the head to be lower and to get that bit of extension in the neck. Okay? Unless it bothers the neck, you can take another cushion, put it under the head. Ideally, it's still at a lower level than the chest, or a rolled blanket. Arms reach off to the sides. Good. Toes flop to the sides. So making some time, letting that body extend and release, and feel, again, the support of the floor, that yin, the earth energy below you. So the shoulders settle back into the support, into that lovely opening. Breathe fully. Acknowledging what may be present in the emotional center, that heart center. Not needing to change or alter it, simply acknowledge it. Noticing as each breath breathes into whatever is in this present moment for you. You can process, you can allow, and simply observe without judgment, attachment, or resistance. Going to take a few more breaths here. You are more than welcome to stay longer if you like and if you have that space and time today. And in your own time, if you're ready to come out, just bend through the knees, roll to one side into the fetal position. Remove the support from underneath you. Come to lay flat on the back. If you need some support for the back, you can either keep the knees bent, feet walk a little wider than hips, bring the inner knees to touch, or you could put cushions under your knees. Final Savasana. Or go back to extending the legs out straight. And your whole body drop into the earth. Breathe steady, breathe even. Stay in that state of observation. Continue to acknowledge how imperfectly perfect each moment can be. I invite you to stay and rest as long as you need today. Taking at least 15 more full breaths. And in your own time, just being very mindful in your transition. Always rolling to one side for a few breaths before you arrive to seated. And continue to stay, to breathe, to observe, and to be. Wishing each of you a day filled with blessings. Namaste.